Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmama, his going to prison? If you got, I know you. I know you. I know you. I know you. Ain't no mystery. I know you though. I know you though. I know. I know. I said a while ago when T.I.'s son King was getting a lot of flack and a lot of heat in the media that to me, he just looked like a young kid that wanted to prove to his father that he was a man too. King Harris's world just crumbled even harder after Tiny hit T with divorce papers. And the timing couldn't be more explosive. She reportedly couldn't stand the fact that T disowned their son after his latest arrest. And now the whole family drama is spiraling out of control. T isn't even fighting the divorce, not even trying to patch things up. And that silence says it all. The house is divided, fingers are pointing in every direction, and the family is tearing apart right before our eyes. Now everybody's asking the same question. Who's really at fault here? The parents who spoiled King with every luxury possible, or King himself for throwing it all away just to chase a street lifestyle he didn't need? T and Tiny splitting might shock the fans, especially since they've weathered scandals, breakups, and reconciliations for decades. But insiders knew the cracks were always there. And the breaking point? It came in October 2024. Right after King's reckless arrest dragged the entire family name through the mud. That night, King was cruising recklessly out of a gas station in his BMW when he almost smashed into a cop car. Disaster in the making. When police pulled him over, things went from bad to worse in seconds. The smell of weed hit them before King even opened his mouth. And then officers spotted a gun stuffed in his waistband. At that point, the situation was already looking ugly, but the real bombshell came when they ran his name. An outstanding warrant from 2022 popped up. Speeding, driving on a suspended license, and a DUI still hanging over his head. Suddenly, this wasn't just a wild night gone wrong. This was the skeleton in the closet that blew everything wide open. And the fallout is still wrecking the Harris family today. It was all downhill from there. Nothing but bad news. King could have walked away that night if he had just kept his cool. But instead, every mistake from his past came crashing back like a tidal wave. All right, I need you to step out the vehicle. What you want to do? You want to take my gun? Yes, sir. There's one in the head. Does your buddy have one as well? All right. Just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires. There's no safety. You got to take. There's no safety. You take. I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Just set this down right here. Dude, step out for me. Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. All right. Right now, you're just being detained. You're not under arrest. I'm going to be at the church. All right. I appreciate you being cool. Now, we're just going to take a look at this information. Make sure it's valid. I should just take the stuff to the side for me. And once that arrest footage leaked online, the internet wasted no time ripping him to shreds. You can literally see it in his face. King finally realized he crossed the line for real this time. In the 30-minute long video, he isn't wilding out or putting on a show. Instead, you catch this flicker of regret in his eyes, like he knew the only way out was to sit still and cooperate. And for someone with King's reckless rep, that's a shocking sight. We've all watched him act tough and reckless in public, but this footage showed a completely different side. Calm, quiet, and almost humble. That wasn't the King fans we're used to seeing online. Even the arresting officer seemed surprised at how collected he stayed through the whole ordeal. But calm or not, it didn't save him. He still ended up cuffed and booked at the DeKalb County Jail before being shipped over to Pickens County. Once the old warrant was handled, stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? What's your name? My name King. You know it. And your mama know? Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. F come back. Come back. What? On game day? What? On game what? Come here. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. Come here. When the video went viral, fans didn't hold back for a second. One person straight up called him a trust fund prison punk. And the comment racked up likes like crazy because people thought it was hilarious. Another clapped back, saying he thinks his parents' money can save him. But then he wants to pretend he comes from the struggle. The internet dragged him from every angle. But here's the real twist. King wasn't the only one paying the price this time. The fallout started spreading fast. hitting way beyond just him. King's downfall didn't just land him in cuffs. It tore straight through his parents' marriage. Those cracks in T and Tiny's relationship exploded into a full-blown split. And this time, there was no saving it. T tried to play the role of the heartbroken father in public. But Tiny, she was furious, and she came locked and loaded with receipts. In her divorce filings, she didn't sugarcoat a thing. She flat out blamed King's spiral for being the final straw. Shockingly, T didn't fight it. He didn't push back, didn't beg her to stay, didn't even attempt damage control. To him, his hands were clean. He had already done his duty as a father. And if King wanted to crash out, then King had no one to blame but himself. Brutal, yes. But T's stance wasn't random. Back in 2022, when King first started going viral for his wild antics, T went online practically begging his son to slow down. He warned King straight up, "You're headed down a dangerous path, and if you don't stop, you're going to end up in jail." T even admitted he'd been warning Tiny and King's grandmother, too, telling them they had to keep a closer eye on him before it was too late. And this wasn't just empty talk. T had lived it. He'd been to jail. He knew the price. And he didn't want his son repeating the same mistakes, hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King. Okay, I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son his mama and his grandmom is his going to prison. If he got keep that up, his head going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'ma be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it, cause I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. But Tiny wasn't having it. She flipped that narrative right back on him in the divorce, claiming T hadn't played his role properly as a father at all. According to her, if he had stepped up, been more present, and actually laid down the law with King, their son wouldn't have drifted so far off track. Instead of protecting him, she argued, T had basically let him slip through the cracks. And Tiny's not wrong to call it out. T was in and out of prison from the very moment she found out she was pregnant with King. And by the time he finally came home for good, King had already grown up used to life without a father figure. And when T was around, his presence didn't make much of a difference either. Allegedly, he shipped King off to his grandmother's house, almost like passing off the responsibility. King himself once admitted that even though his parents had money, he didn't feel it because he was raised by his grandma. He even revealed the only times he got to stay at his parents' house were when the cameras were rolling for their reality TV show. Imagine that, only being welcomed home when it was time to film. With a childhood like that, it's no shock that King started searching for attention and distractions outside, running headfirst into trouble every chance he got. One moment that really exposed just how far he was spiraling came during his infamous Waffle House meltdown in 2022. To make him look better, he know not true. Silver spoon. I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life. You did the truth. I used to have to come to my grandma house cause I'm getting in like a baby to go to your grandma's house. You used to hold your hand. I know you catch it? I know you, I know you, I know you, I know you, ain't no mystery. I know you though, I know you though, I know you though, I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know, I still be here. It started over something ridiculous. A worker mixed up his order and threw pickles on his food when he didn't ask for them. That's all it took for King to lose it. He got into a screaming match with the employee, pulled out his phone, and recorded the whole ugly scene before blasting it online. But instead of looking tough, he came off as a spoiled kid with zero control. People weren't questioning the worker. They were questioning T for letting his son run wild like that. So when T later made that video publicly warning King about crashing out, Tiny was livid. In her eyes, all that fatherly wisdom should have been shown years ago, not after the damage was already done. For a minute, things between them seemed to cool off, but T's disappointment in King couldn't stay hidden, and soon enough, it boiled over in front of the world. During an Atlanta Falcons game where T and King got into an argument that turned physical in the stands. The drama hit its peak during that Atlanta Falcons game. The argument popped off after King started claiming he didn't grow up with privilege. That set T off instantly. He jumped in and checked his son right there, reminding him he was literally born with a silver spoon in his mouth. But King wasn't backing down, and before anyone could blink, he squared up and started throwing hands at his own father in the middle of the crowd. The clip of the fight went viral in seconds, and it was ugly. T looked like he was ready to forget this was his own kid and lay him out like a grown man. The internet went crazy with thousands of likes pouring in within hours. Surprisingly, a lot of people sided with T, saying it was about time somebody disciplined King. Comments flooded in. He should have busted him up years ago. And that's what happens when you don't check the problem. It'll eventually come for you. Others simply wrote, King's out of control. Pray for their family. But while social media cheered T on, Tiny was furious. She hated that T humiliated their son like that in public, no matter how bad King had been acting. And her anger only grew once she got home, because that's when she found out T had kicked King out of the house completely, leaving him to figure out survival on his own. Too Tiny. That was crossing the line. She felt T had gone too far. And the fallout from that moment carved an even deeper crack in their marriage. The very crack that finally pushed her to cut him off for good. _12 pull up, and they say, hey, who do you belong to? Who raised their hand? Somebody got to raise your hand. I've been seeing him around too a lot. You going to raise your own hand? I've been seeing him around too. Huh, but when you got drugs, it ain't y'all gun. It's not possession of a firearm in commission of a crime. Sir, that is a filling. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Another bomb Tiny dropped in those divorce papers. T's constant cheating and violent past. For years, she stood by and watched him step out on their marriage, only for him to spin the same tired story about changing. But the lies kept stacking higher and higher, and by the time King spiraled into his own chaos, Tiny wasn't just angry at her son. She was staring at T, realizing he was the blueprint for everything King had become. That was the breaking point. Tiny finally cut T off when it hit her that King wasn't paving his own path at all. He was copying his father's exact playbook. The same jail stints that once gave T his tough guy image were now the same stints King was chasing for himself. So when T disowned King after that messy arrest, Tiny snapped to her. He wasn't just turning his back on their son, he was disowning his own reflection. That's why those divorce papers landed on the table with no hesitation. And the craziest part, you can tell just how desperate King is for his father's approval by the way. He constantly flashes guns and leans into that street persona. After the arrest footage went viral, some people even claimed King wanted it to happen, that he deliberately walked himself into jail time just to lock in some street cred, and finally be seen as a real tough guy. Online comments were brutal. Some said King had finally earned the rugged image he'd been chasing for years, while others swore he was only doing all this for attention and scraps of respect from his dad. And maybe they were right, because it looked like King's antics worked. Just think back to when T and Boozy had to check their sons on camera. The patterns were all too clear. King and Boozy's son Tootie Raw linked up to shoot a music video. But instead of focusing on the music, they were busy flexing guns like they were running a trap house that he just became a father. So I got 2 grandchildren now. Wow, congrats. Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way. Wow. King's about to have a son. King's about to have a son. Congrats. Yeah. And I told him I'm going to make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you there will be an indictment in this young one. A lot of people hit me up like, Kong, I know you tired. You ain't get no sleep. And the truth be told, before this little I ain't been getting no sleep. You know what I'm saying? I just been outside working lifestyle. You know, lifestyle just leafing. You know what I'm saying? And but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning, and then around the morning time, he liked to do that little live concert I'd be doing with him. And he liked to walk around the house. So you could hear the disappointment in T's voice as he confronted King, pressing him on why he was more worried about looking tough than actually enjoying himself when there were women around. It quickly shifted from a warning to a full-on lecture. T laid it out plain. One wrong move with those guns, one illegal slip-up, and their entire lives could be ruined in seconds. Both he and Boozy weren't joking around. You could see in their faces they were dead serious. It looked, at least on the surface, like T. I was desperately trying to steer King away from a path that only ends in jail time. But when Tiny heard about it, she wasn't clapping for T's Father of the Year moment. She was heated, not because she supported King's reckless flexing, but because she felt T was way too late. To her, King wasn't inventing this tough guy act. He was just copying what he'd already seen his father do for years. Tiny's anger only built higher when the next bomb dropped. King's baby mama drama. The final straw came when T casually went on a podcast and announced he was about to become a grandfather again. thanks to King having another child on the way. Tiny couldn't believe it. To her ears, it didn't sound like concern or discipline. It sounded like T was low-key endorsing their son's behavior, turning what should have been a wake-up call into a twisted badge of honor. The whole situation took an even stranger turn when rumors started swirling about King's baby mama, Big Nana. Whispers claimed she was way older than him, and some even suggested she only got with him to secure a bag while he was too immature to notice. But King, he couldn't care less about the chatter. He was hyped about the whole thing, stepping into the role of fatherhood like it was the best thing that ever happened to him. When their son was born in November 2024, King was over the moon. He proudly leaned into being a dad, posting non-stop, bragging about his baby boy, and showing the world a softer side of himself. He even dropped a track titled Dear Son, where he rapped about stepping up as a father. He captioned the post with raw details. November 5th, 8:09 a.m. Welcome, King Jr. Time to take over. For a brief moment, it really looked like King was finally ready to change. Like fatherhood had him calming down and finding real purpose. Tiny loved seeing it. For her, the best part was watching King do what T never did for him: be present, hands-on, and proud of his child from day one. It felt like maybe the cycle was finally breaking, that King was learning from his father's mistakes instead of repeating them. But just as fast as that hope rose, reality came crashing in. While King was online glowing about being a proud dad, his messy arrest footage was spreading like wildfire all over social media. Every repost was a brutal reminder that no matter how sweet he looked holding his newborn, he was still knee-deep in legal trouble and public scandal. Through all of this, T tried to play the role of the supportive dad, but the truth always slipped through. His disappointment in King was impossible to hide, and for Tiny, that was unforgivable. She might have stomached the cheating, the violence, even the public humiliation, but when T became so ashamed of his own son that he refused to live under the same roof with him, that's what finally shattered her heart. By the time those divorce papers landed, nobody close to them was surprised. It was the final blow in a marriage that had been cracking for years, a love story collapsing under the weight of betrayal, disappointment, and a son spiraling out of control. Tiny is done. No more excuses. No more covering up. She's standing on her truth and walking away from the man she once built an empire with. Now the spotlight shifts back to T. What does he do next? Will he finally speak up? Or will he stay silent just like he has with King, letting his family crumble in front of the world? Because right now, the Harris empire looks finished, and the scars from this fallout might never heal. What do you think? Did T fail as a father and a husband, or did King's reckless choices doom the family from the start? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you in the next All From Pop Snaps for you recently uploaded 1444.